Welcome to this explainer by Forge College. Today, we're exploring the absolutely essential bridge between mapping out theoretical risk mitigations and writing actual rock-solid security test scripts. We're diving into the foundations of access control testing. If you've ever wondered how to definitively prove your smart contract is secure, and not just, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, you are exactly in the right place. Okay, let's dive into this agenda. Think of it as our engineering schematic for building the ultimate nightclub security system for your smart contracts. We're going to quickly cover the access control bouncer, roles and least privilege, reading the guard blueprint, positive and negative tests, building the matrix, and finally, the final checklist.
Section 1. The access control bouncer. Mapping your mitigations.
So, in our previous lesson on building risk mitigations and recommendations, we mapped out our theoretical defenses. But theory is just theory, right? To make this concrete, imagine your smart contract is an exclusive, high-stakes VIP club. Access control testing is how we prove the bouncer at the front door is actually checking the guest list before letting anyone into the VIP room. We have to scientifically verify that only authorized actors can perform privileged operations, like minting tokens or withdrawing funds. Section 2, roles and least privilege. This is the core foundation. And this brilliantly illustrates the golden rule of security, the least privilege principle. Essentially, this means granting an actor the bare minimum access rights they require to perform their specific function, and absolutely nothing more. Think about it. If you hire a DJ for your exclusive club, they definitely need access to the sound booth, but they do not need the combination to the club's financial vault. In smart contract testing, we must prove actors only get the exact access they absolutely need. Section 3. Reading the guard blueprint. Solidity, code idioms. So how do we explicitly tell the bouncer who the DJ is and who the vault manager is? Well, we look at the code idioms in Solidity. These act as our frontline guards. During an audit, you're going to constantly see these common access control patterns. And when someone breaks the rules, the contract throws a revert message, usually something like not owner or not manager. I love to think of these as the bouncer's signature catchphrases right as they physically throw an unauthorized user out the door. When we write our test scripts, we literally need to listen for these specific catchphrases to ensure the guard is actively doing their job. Section 4. Positive and negative tests. Let's stress test those rules. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the clear contrast. Once we know the catchphrases, we need to design specific stress tests. A positive test is the happy path. The VIP shows up, their name is on the list, and they smoothly enter the club. The authorized actor succeeds. But a negative test is just as vital. A random person off the street tries to walk into the VIP area, and the bouncer immediately rejects them. The unauthorized actor reverts. To have a truly secure contract, you must rigorously test both scenarios. But wait, we can't just test the front door. We've got to test the sneaky stuff. What happens if a random partygoer sneaks in and tries to hand out VIP wristbands to their friends? This is what we call an escalation test. We absolutely must test whether an unauthorized actor can artificially promote themselves or actually change the guards, like a non-owner trying to call a set manager function. If the bouncer misses this escalation attempt, the entire club is compromised. Section 5. Building the coverage matrix. Going from theory to a tangible artifact. Let's move to Sari and see how this builds a highly effective, repeatable workflow. As you'll discover in Forge College's advanced learning programs, transitioning from pure theory to a concrete audit artifact is what really separates the novices from the pros. It's a 6-step workflow. Step 1, inventory the guarded surfaces. Step 2, map the roles and guards. Step 3, define your test types. Step 4, prioritize by risk. Step 5, plan your on-chain state fixtures. And finally, Step 6, compile all of this intelligence into our ultimate tool, the coverage matrix. So the crucial point is that this matrix becomes your ultimate security blueprint. Look at the columns we've mapped out here. We list the function, like set manager. We identify the guard, like only owner. We define the positive test, ensuring the owner can successfully set the manager. We define the negative test, ensuring a non-owner is hit with a revert. And we tag the priority. Utilizing a matrix like this prevents the dangerous pitfall of only testing the happy paths, and it gives you a reproducible artifact to show stakeholders exactly what was validated. Section 6. The final security checklist. Let's review before we start coding. Okay, we've mapped the layout of the club, trained the bouncer, and organized our master plan.
To quickly recap before you move on to writing actual code. Always map your guards directly to specific tests. Always build out comprehensive positive, negative, and escalation checks. Prioritize your testing effort based on your earlier risk assessments. And finally, bring it all together into that pristine coverage matrix. This sets the stage perfectly for the next lesson in this module, designing access control test cases, where we use this blueprint to write our hard hat and either scripts. I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Are your smart contracts bouncers actually checking IDs, or are they just standing at an open door looking intimidating? Don't leave your application's security up to assumptions. Come visit forge.college to explore more Web3 topics and learn exactly how to write the code that keeps those digital doors locked tight. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy auditing!